Hello there. That's the wrong series though, bro, because this is House of the Dragon after show. Let's go. So that's how you do a opening episode, huh?
Absolutely. Wow. Can I swear on here? I don't know if I can. You don't want to
get like 20 like that.
Absolutely fantastic, bro. Goosebumps all the way through it.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, they just know how to do it, dude. You know, and the funny thing is a lot of this episode was a recap. It really was. Like if you didn't watch the first season, or you watched, I mean, probably not watching this season if you watched the first one, but if you did watch it and you want to rewatch it, it was a pretty good little recap episode, along with what they showed in the very beginning with the, how they do the what happened last season. So they did a pretty good job. What I really liked about it is that it's moving the plot forward. It wasn't just like a total recap episode, because there's definitely a lot of things that happen, in this episode that we're going to talk about. But dude, I loved it, man. It makes me so angry when we watch Star Wars now, because this is so good compared to what we had to watch last week for Acolyte, So I don't know, man. It was good though. It was good. And I know you kind of knew what was happening. So what do you think?
So when I say I knew what was happening, obviously I knew this episode was titled A Son for a Son. So as a book lover as I am, I know that this was going to end with blood and cheese and the events of what we got at the end, but we'll get to that later on. I was super happy with this. We got to introduce to Cregan Stark. That's one of the main reasons why I told you to stop listening to the audiobook, because you were literally about to get to these scenes, and I was like, you need to wait, because that was done fantastic. Like, just want to say that his voice is amazing. I know, right? I'm from the north, mate, and we'll protect people from the north.
Now, was he the one who was doing the voiceover in the beginning?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's Cregan Stark. Just such a absolutely fantastic episode from start to finish. I have my things to nitpick at it, of course, but not everything's going to be perfect. But maybe that's just the sadistic person in me. I saw somebody get beheaded in the first season. He can keep his tongue. I was quite enamored with that. I thought that's what I want, and then I was hoping we'd maybe get that this evening, and we unfortunately we didn't. But it was still spine-chillingly horrible.
Well, what happened at the end? Like, you knew they weren't going to show that. Like, dude, you can't show that.
Bro, I was hoping that we could. I was honestly hoping that we could. We'll talk about it later when we break it a little bit down. But it was absolutely fantastic. I want to thank everybody that's been, surrounding me and my content for the last couple of years. I know I've been a pain and things like that, and I've tried to keep as much as I can in. I know I spoiled something for Headless backstage a couple of days ago, and it has been playing on my mind for a couple of days. And even watching this episode, it was playing on my mind. I was imagining you sitting on the couch and thinking, "Is it his time? Is it his time?" and things like that. So it was fun. It was interesting. But
a couple points I thought maybe I really did in this episode. Yeah, there was a couple of spots, but
I'm sorry, brother.
We're not like that. So, what's up,
it's amazing.
What's going on, guys? I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. The chats are coming in fast and furious. I'm gonna put up a poll. I just want to get a gauge of what you guys are feeling here on this episode. Like Ryan said, today is more of our instant reactions, and we're just gonna kind of go through the episode as best as we can remember. And we'll definitely talk about it. We'll theorize what's going to happen next week a little bit. And then tomorrow, don't forget, guys, we'll be on Ryan's channel, and we'll be breaking this thing down almost scene by scene. So it's we're doing double duty here, on these House of the Dragon episodes. Real quick too, just a heads up, next week we will not be live on Sunday unless Ryan. Are you going to go live on your channel? I wasn't sure if you're doing that yet or not.
Yeah. I'll go live on my channel. If you can't make it, I'll be there.
Yeah. So next Sunday, I will be, I'm going to be out of town. So Ryan will probably be live on his channel, just kind of talking about it. And then we'll be live on Tuesday on my channel doing my regular recap, but we'll also be on Ryan's channel on Monday, or we skip it next Monday because of that.
Yeah. No. We'll still do the Monday stuff, and then we'll talk like normal with you on the Tuesday.
Okay. And then we'll kind of be back on our regular schedule here. So, So the first thing is I did find it interesting that they spent a lot of time, which I don't have a problem with. They spent a lot of time on Rhaenyra. Like, I feel like she doesn't even say anything for like the first half an hour of the episode.
She has one line. She has one line in this entire episode. That's it.
Yeah. And which I think sometimes that's what's needed, though, because it really shows you the place that she's in. Because, we see her at the end of season 1 and she finds the news, but she doesn't really react. She kind of stares, and then she talks to Daemon quickly, and that's it. And it was really, really powerful when when Jace returns from Winterfell, and then
I was crying.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like he's kind of like all just playing. He's kind of playing the game, like here's the information you sent me, and then that dude just breaks down too, and it was really, really good. I thought she did great for, like you said, having basically one line in the entire episode.
We hear from Rhaenyra that it's been a couple of weeks since the death, because she says to Daemon that she's been searching across the seas for ages and she needs a rest. So we know that Rhaenyra has been out searching for the remains of Lucerys for weeks.
Now,
and I liked that it played through the episode and it gave her time. And I thought this was a very heavy grieving episode. It was a very heartfelt episode all the way through it. But yeah, I like that it gave it time.
Do you find it? What was your view on this? Because like Daemon makes a comment to Rhaenys when she comes back from kind of searching around and stuff. Daemon makes a mention that she went as a mother, but her duties as a queen aren't being fulfilled. How do you feel about that? About the way he's looking at it?
I just see Daemon as a forward-focused mentality character, and he only has one thing in mind from the start of finding out Lucerys is dead to basically this episode, and that's revenge. And he wants that, and I think he's looking for the way to do it. Like we see at the start, he's speaking to Rhaenys, and if she'd have just said yes, like what would have happened if they'd have just gone and attacked Vhagar like he wanted to do? Because he knows for himself he can't do it on his own, and he needs 2 dragons, because he even says that she's too big. So he's focused on just wanting revenge, and obviously you see throughout the episode he kind of gets it. You know what I mean? Because he kind of gets the golden words. The only 4 words that Rhaenyra does say is basically Daemon takes that upon himself to sort that.
Yeah, and since you mentioned dragons, the dragons look great. There was one little part I did see. I was like, ooh, it's a little bit not wonderful. It's when she slides off Syrax when she gets on the beach.
Did you not like that?
Well, to me, it looked a little bit unnatural. It's just the way, I guess it's just the way it's filmed or the way the CGI was inserted. But besides that, I thought the dragons looked amazing. I thought Melee's looked like
Melee's looked amazing.
Yeah, but like now you can kind of tell who Melee's is, because we only get Melee's in such small bit of the episode, or in the actual.
She bursts through the floor.
Yeah, bursting through the floor and flying through the air a little bit, but you don't really get to see the colors. And I do love the colors, because
she's dark. She's red.
And you have to do something, because it's hard to tell. Because I mean, especially when we have like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dragons all in the sky, it's going to be really hard. So I'm glad they really, and Syrax look great. I mean, the golden, the golden scales and everything. And so, yeah, I thought the dragons looked fantastic. I thought they were better than how they looked in the first season. So,
yeah, if I was to mention anything about the dragons as of episode 1, Syrax, unfortunately, has still to impress me at all in this season. In this entire show, Syrax for me is the least impressive one of the lot, and that's Rhaenyra's dragon. It's supposed to be like the main leading forward focused thing. Like we know in the book, Rhaenyra doesn't really do much in war, because she's just always a grieving mother throughout the whole story. Yeah. And they're going to change that. They're going to change that in the show for sure, because we've seen snippets of her picking up armor and weapons and all sorts of stuff. So it looks like they're definitely going to change that. But I just don't know. Syrax just doesn't look menacing and like a dangerous dragon to me. It's weird. It's like it belongs in like a fairy tale. It's weird.
Well, he's also not super big right now either. I mean, he's still pretty small. Like, I mean, it's only 2 weeks later, so obviously the dragon didn't grow, but
Syrax. You mean I'm on about Syrax, Rhaenyra's dragon?
Yeah, Syrax is still a pretty small dragon. I mean, I just think of like when Danny would get off of like Drogon toward the end of Game of Thrones. Man, that dragon was huge. Look how big a Vagar is. Vagar looks,
and look at
enormous.
Caraxes and Vermithor and Melees. They're all very, very different, and this one just looks. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Well, hopefully. I mean, again, we don't want spoilers, but hopefully, we can get more of him.
Syrax is a female.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of them are females, aren't they?
Yeah, they're multi both, basically. Dragons don't really have a sex.
All right, so I put a poll up. That's what I was doing right there. Cool, I wish it was easier to do. Sometimes I just like, I don't know. So there's your 4 choices. So, throughout the next like 15, 20 minutes, try to vote on that, and we'll talk about that as well when we give our grades. So we
can start.
Yeah, I liked him. Dude is so funny when the voiceover came on right in the beginning. Dude, part of me is like, is that Robb Stark? To me, it kind of sounded like Robb. And I'm like, then he goes, see my ancestors. I'm like, wait a minute, is he like talking about Creek and Sturt right now? I really thought it was Robb for a second. And then you can kind of tell as the episode continues, because then you can match the voices. So I kind of figured that was him. But I thought that would have been kind of cool, actually, if that was Robb. I don't know, but I think Cregan was pretty cool, man. The other Stark they mentioned, what was his first name? Who is that? His father?
The one that we saw in the first season, yeah. He pledged allegiance to the Black on one of the first episodes.
Yeah, do you remember who his name is?
When we saw the start.
Because they mentioned they mentioned another Stark in this episode, and now I can't remember what the name was.
Torrhen Stark. Torrhen Stark.
Yeah. So is that his father then?
Yes, that's the one in season 1.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, but I was not 100% sure on that. So, okay, cool. And then let's see. Then we have whenever Rhaenys is on screen, I wish she would get more screen time, because dude, I love that she doesn't take any shit from anybody. I love it. Even Daemon, and she makes that comment like he's like, come fly with me, and she makes that comment like, sure, if you were
you're not king.
Yeah, you're not the king. So
yeah, it's one of the best storylines in this whole show is Rhaenys' story. Yeah. And I want to say I've had a even more liking to the character Eve Best as well, the person who plays her, because over the last couple of days I've just absorbed House of the Dragon content, and there's been so much media questions and people asking the Stars stuff, and I've loved it. I've watched probably 7 or 8 hours of it, and Eve Best has just come out shining in my eyes. She's definitely now probably in my top 10 of people I want to meet, like at Comic Cons and stuff like that. So she's definitely jumped up the list.
Here, I like Poppin's comment. If you do something to Syrax's mother, she will be a force to reckon with. There you go. I'm thinking. Nice. I hope we see Syrax, because I like Syrax. I think at the end of last season, I think I told you that Syrax was my favorite dragon. But we'll see.
Caraxes is my favorite. The long one.
I do like Caraxes too. Caraxes is cool. It's so much different looking. Then we finally get to see Corlys. He's kind of hobbling along here, and I thought it was pretty cool that they ended up showing his ship, and that thing was busted up. And this dude goes, what is it, Aaron? I think his name was. He goes, oh no, it's not ready to sail yet. Well, give us a couple of weeks. I'm like, couple of weeks, bro. You might want to just rebuild the whole thing, because that thing was so burnt up and just destroyed. It was kind of crazy. But yeah, so we get to meet this Aaron character, and we find out, or is it Alan? I'm sorry, Alan. And then we find out Alan is the one who actually pulled Corlys from the water and basically saved his life. So I'm going to assume that we're going to get a little more of this guy. I hope, because I kind of like
Alan of Hull is a main character in season 2. Yes, you will see more of him. Okay. He's a very important character. That's all I'm going to say right now, because he is a spoiler character. So I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool to meet someone new, and I kind of like his presence right from the beginning, and I like
his voice. His voice suits the Game of Thrones world.
Yeah, Yeah, very humble as well, which I liked. So yeah, we'll kind of see, and then we find out that they are creating a blockade, so they can stop the trade to King's Landing, and that's kind of what that whole part of the plot was.
And do you know what that will do? Do you understand what blocking the gullet will do for King's Landing? Have you come to grips with that?
Yeah, I think we kind of talked. They kind of talked about it, didn't they? When they had all the guys, when all the people came
Well, they were
up
begging the king, weren't they? Yeah.
Aegon stuff. Yeah, so I mean, like you're not going to be able to get any metal or steel. They're not going to be able to get food. So yeah, I mean, anywhere they trade with, yeah, so it kind of just stops all the trade routes. So they're not going to get.
Yeah, so their food's not going to come in. People's lives and jobs are going to have to stop because they can't get materials in.
Yeah.
Basically, it's going to cause uproar in the city, and with the King's Landing being on the edge of the coast where it's situated on the map, like they have enemies to the north and they have to trade via the seas. So it's definitely something that they need. It's definitely a strong point that King's Landing needs is the waterways.
Well, I think
they introduced that with Corlys and him being a master of the ships and all that is good.
Yeah.
I like it.
And I think that's a common thing in wars. I mean, you stop letting the people get what they need, and then like again, no food, no steel. What are you going to do? And I think that's what Aegon didn't understand. He's basically like, oh no, give this guy his goats back. And I was like, whoa. I don't think you quite understand what's going on, because if you do that, then everyone's going to want their goats or animals back. And then we really have no food. So Xavier asks, did I just see the Red Witch on upcoming episodes? It's a small spoiler, I guess, but it's not her. It's what's her name again? Alicent? No, what is it?
What's this on the upcoming episode? I didn't watch the thing afterwards.
No, it wasn't her. It was what's her name? It's the other one that's coming in.
Mysaria?
Not Mysaria.
Alice Rivers.
Oh yeah, Rivers. Yeah. Is it Alice? You said?
Alice Rivers, yeah, but that you shouldn't know that name by now. That shouldn't be a name that should be known.
Yeah, but I think they did. I think they did show a little. They showed her, and she looks very similar to Melisandre. So that's probably who that was, Xavier.
Yeah, I didn't watch the preview either, but yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, I watched it, but I was typing a couple things on my phone, so I wasn't really paying attention to it. But that after show they do, the little after thing they did, I like watching that. It's just the problem is that this episode then ends like basically 10 o'clock, and it's like then you're running around we're trying to go live, and 15 minutes later, it's hard to be able to watch that. So on my second watch of it, that'll be either when we get out of here tonight or I'll watch it tomorrow. I'll watch all that because I think that stuff's interesting, and they really do a good job breaking things down for you too if you miss something. Because I mean, again, there's always something you miss. Like, I mean, you can rewatch this thing 3 times, you're like, oh, when did that happen? Oh, and even before we started, I asked you a couple questions that I wasn't even sure because they didn't say any names, but
yeah,
kind of who they are. So.
I did notice something as well that was in the episode that is in kind of conjunction as to where we're talking about just after the Corlys stuff. We see Eric Cargill, I believe it's Eric, in King's Landing, the twin.
So that's Eric. That's Eric with an A, right?
Eric with an E, and then Eric is the other one. I think. I think Eric is in King's Landing. Eric is in Rhaenyra's. I think that's the way it is. Eric, Aegon, Eric, Rhaenyra. That's how I see it. Eric, Aegon. So that's how we know he's in King's Landing. But my point is, they were talking about, we saw scorpions, bro.
Yeah, that was
scorpions. Did you pick up on that? Because am I wrong in thinking that they said that they were created in Game of Thrones? Didn't the guy that was working for Cersei say he'd built one? And he'd made it, and it could crush dragon skulls, and he fires it, and it goes through the skull. Didn't he say he created that?
I think what they're talking about is the one that they were able to make mobilized, not the one
which was a scorpion. That's what Jaime had. That's what Bronn shot.
Right, but I think they're all called scorpions because they're all those huge like arrows that they're on top of the castle. But I think what he was talking about, he was the one who made it that was able to mobilize it, because I don't think they ever were mobilized until then. Again, maybe
Okay.
I'm wrong too, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I need to
But
go back and
thought
look,
that's what
but
he
it was
meant.
interesting. I was like, have they broke continuity there? Have they? Because this is never supposed to be made by now, but it was
I
cool.
would have to go back and watch that. What is that? Season 7 or 8?
Yeah, I'd say so.
It's
I'd say
7 or
it's
8.
7.
Yeah, I would have to go back and watch that scene and see exactly what he says. Maybe I can do that tomorrow before we come up
It's the
live.
first time when Daenerys comes onto land and they have the fight
Yeah,
by water. And Jamie jumps into the puddle and it ends up being an ocean.
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's season 7 then, because season 8 is when they actually hit the dragon, right?
Yeah,
I think
correct.
isn't 8
Yeah,
when
but yeah, I just brought it up. Scorpions. I made a note of it. I was like, ooh,
yeah.
interesting. And then the foreshadowing from Helena. She was we see Helena for the first time in this episode, and she's sewing something, and she says to the king Aegon, she's afraid, and he is like, "Why are you afraid? We've got Vhagar here. What's wrong?" And she goes, "I'm afraid of the rats."
Yeah,
Which,
I
if
knew
you
that.
know,
I knew something was coming.
yeah, something was building, and that I was all giddy when that happened. I was like, "Oh, they said it! They said it!" And we even see the rat catcher earlier in the episode picking up rats, and
Yeah.
you see him, and I'm like, "That's blood!" Oh my god, we see him.
So if you guys don't know, there's 2 characters. Their names are Blood and Cheese. So Blood is the one who was the smaller
The rat
guy.
catcher.
He's the one who he's the second guy that Damon went and talked to, basically. So
Which
that
is
was.
different in the books. They changed it.
What do you mean they changed it?
So in the book, Daemon speaks with Massaria, and it's Massaria that does all the dirty work. She does all the telling and speaking to people. It's just Daemon that asks her to do it. Whereas in the show, Daemon asks her for information, and then we see him arrive, and
Gotcha.
he asks them to do it, which is very
So
different. And Aemond was never the target. King Aemon was never the target in the book. It was Aegon.
Oh, Aegon.
And then,
okay.
And it happened to be the way it was happened, but it's different, you know. They changed it around, but I liked the way they did it. It was nice. It was good. Not nice. How can I say it was nice? A kid got murdered.
Yeah,
I'm a sadistic guy.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's similar. They just had Damon go there too, I guess. But unless they're going to do something a little bit different with her character, because they obviously wanted her to get back over to Dragonstone for some reason. So that's how they did it. Or whatever.
I like how they played on Aegon taking little Jaehaerys to the council with him, and like that played on. That's not in the book. That never happened. So that was a nice little pull at the heartthrobs because I knew what was coming. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really. It was good foreshadowing on their part, but I didn't catch that because who's thinking they're going to go in and kill a 5-year-old or whatever, 6-year-old. But Xavier says, I still say that Jaehaerys is Sir Criston Cole's son. Yeah, I mean, I made a video about that a long time ago, like 2 years ago. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. I think it'll be great. I really do. But I mean, maybe that's why they killed off Luke. I don't know. But we'll see. And then, speaking of Criston Cole, so it looks like him and Alicent have a little thing going, which I knew that was coming. It was so obvious. What
an opening shot for Alicent. That was amazing.
What'd you say?
I said, what an opening shot for Alicent.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, thank you, Olivia Cook. You blessed all of us with that scene. That was amazing.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming. And then, of course, he goes, this is the last time. We can't do this again. And sure enough, what are they doing later on in the episode? But
which is, again, a change from the books, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Oh, okay. So the whole, it's still weird to me seeing Aegon and Helena married. It's really odd, but Helena is I can't put in she's an interesting character. She doesn't really say or do a whole lot right now, but
everything she says you should listen to with every ounce of giving. Like, she is one of the most important characters on prophecies and story, and she literally tells you what's going to happen. You just have to know how to connect the dots. Like, she's sewing the threads. Sorry to bring up threads. I know threads are a sore subject with you right now, so we'll leave that one alone.
Let's see what else we got. Then I know at one point, this is when they were Lannister. So that was not the same Lannister as last season.
Yeah, that's Tylan. That's Tylan. Yeah.
Tylan, and then the other one is what? It's it's not Jamie, obviously. It's Justin. What's the other one the one that was trying to marry Rhaenyra?
That's Tylan.
That was Tylan?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah, it was. I have it here. Tylan is back again from season 1. I like that Tylan is a butt of the joke. Nice.
Oh, so that's
I like the Lannisters. I like that the Lannisters are the butt of the joke.
That's the only Lannister we've seen then, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think there was twins. I think he was a twin.
Tylan is a twin?
I believe so. I could be mistaken.
Why I thought the name.
I believe there was 2 of them.
I don't know why I have the name Justin in my head. I don't know why I keep thinking that.
I'm not sure.
Tylan. Okay, so Tylan is the one who was trying to marry Rhaenyra then too. Okay,
yeah.
because I knew he was on the council, but I thought there was another Lannister as well. But yeah, I guess he does kind of look the same. All right, well then I kind of wanted him to be the pony because I thought that would have been pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
Little Joffrey vibes there a little bit. Maybe not as cruel, but like a little bit. But dude, Otto, man, Otto's running the show right now. Otto's the one.
Yeah, you can see it. I was going to ask you, where do you stand on Aegon? How do you see Aegon as a king? Do you like him? Has he shined a little bit for you this season? Because he got forced into this, remember? Yeah, his dad died, and Alicent overheard something that wasn't true, and now he's where he is.
Yeah, it's interesting because I knew Aegon would have a bigger part this season, but he's definitely. It's funny. He's either it's like. Because, like, you know, the one scene we see when Blood and Cheese go through the throne room, you know, he's just kind of hanging out with, like, buddies or whatever, and they're just drinking.
Drunk with his mates on the throne, yeah.
Yeah, and he very jokey, but that's very Game of Thrones because, I mean, Joffrey would do that too, but then he's so cruel. You know, Joffrey would just joke about it, and then, boom, you're going to get hurt or you're going to die or whatever. And he, you know, he's already shown that he actually has passion for the people because I mean, again, he was going back to the throne room when he was listening to everyone's pleads, and he basically wanted to give everybody everything, and Otto's the one who basically had to say no. And again, I think that's just because he also has been king for a whole 2 weeks and he doesn't understand.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer. I have here in my notes, HBO, could you please, if you are listening, thank you, please hit the like button, but could you please make the council balls? I would like to buy a set of the council balls and have them in my collection to keep because I think they're very freaking cool.
Yeah,
and I just think they're cool. They do emphasize he's playing with them when he's bored on the table and things like that. I think they could probably sell a lot of those. They could make like 6 in a pack, and they could all have different things and meanings. That'd be cool. So yeah,
that's funny. That's definitely not in Game of Thrones at all. Those things, but yeah. Another interesting conversation I thought was Larys and Aegon when he pulls him to the side, and he's basically warning him about Otto. You know, and Aemon pretty much knows Otto too. I don't think Aemon respects Otto at all. I mean, you could tell just, you know, when they're talking. It was Aemon and who was he talking to when Otto walked in? And
Kristen
Cole. Yeah, Kristen, you know, stands up right away, and Aemon basically just sits there. And
Aemon doesn't need to stand.
What'd you say?
Aemon doesn't need to stand. He's a higher rank than Otto.
Yeah, probably, but still, it's still like I just feel like it's I just feel like I feel like something's gonna happen between those two. It's I get a weird vibe between Otto and Aemon.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, no, I like Otto. I think like you picked up on it very much. This episode is very much him still in charge. You know, we see him have basically personal conversations with all the key characters. Like he even speaks with Alicent later on in the episode, and they talk about are their wants aligned for their end game and things like that. And yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
we'll see where it goes with Otto. And
then we have Rhaenyra. So Rhaenyra does find the wing of Arax, and then finds what is it, like the vest or it's some type of his clothing. I guess they didn't really
Oh,
show it too much in the show, but you assume that's what she finds.
Raise a glass for Arax and Luke.
Yeah, especially Arax or Arax. We hardly knew you.
Yeah, I have in my notes. A dragon wing is found. Crying emoji, crying emoji, crying emoji. Poor Arax, crying emoji, crying emoji. Rhaenyra is heartbroken. Why do I do this to myself? Finding Luke's remains. Yeah, that was what my notes said. Why do I do this to myself?
Yeah. And then we have again still the whole dynamic between Otto and Alicent is always really interesting to me because again, back in season 1, she was so young and she just did what her father said. And, now she's questioning his loyalty. Like, what is your agenda? And they have a talk about it. And, they both want the same thing. I just think that they kind of still want to do it a different way than each other. But in the end game is the same, where I think Otto at this point just knows it. Like what Aemon did basically did start the war probably. And Alicent is still kind of holding out that her old friend, that there's something they could possibly do where they don't have to, basically kill each other for the most part. But I think it was an interesting conversation because I think they still have that same goal in mind. I just think that they just still want to go, get there in a different way, I guess. So
yeah, and everyone best put respect on Otto's name because he has been hand to 3 kings now.
Yeah,
like longevity in the Game of Thrones world is good. Like you don't get that very often. Like you get these characters that you fall in love with after 2-3 episodes and then they get brutally taken away from you, and it's painful. And Otto is still here. It says Alicent took her, what do I have in my notes?
Well, that was one thing too. That was like the big part of the conversation with Larys, is that is like it's like he kind of was like your dad's puppet master, and now he's kind of doing the same thing to you. So Larys obviously,
violence. Yeah,
I think this definitely heads in the direction that Larys will probably end up being hand of the king at some point. At least that's what I would be guessing from that conversation, is that he wants that kind of power. Which again, it's still really interesting to me because he technically is still strong, and they're so against that family. Although he did, show that he killed his, father and his brother. But I don't know if that'll ever come back into play because Larys is like he's like the Littlefinger of this series.
I was going to say, do you get the Littlefinger vibes? Because I know they definitely portray it like. I don't think I like it. I feel like it is very much, oh, that's a Littlefinger move. Yeah. Maybe we're just doctrinated because of the show that we've already seen, but
yeah. So
I wish he would do his own some things.
So how is he portrayed in the book then up to this point? Is
there's certain things that I can't say because I don't know if they're going to introduce it in the show. They kind of hint at it a lot, and I if you're a book reader, you'll know. But he does other things in the book that aren't necessarily humane. That's all I'll say.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Again, we don't want to say spoilers because I think it just I enjoyed the episode so much because I didn't know what was going to happen, and I had no idea that Jaehaerys was going to get killed at the end, which that was awesome. Like, I was definitely not expecting that. So
yeah, I can't wait to talk about that because it was different. But yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah. And then we see what's her name again?
Mysaria, the White Worm.
Mysaria, the White Worm. And we kind of already talked about this a little bit, but she ends up stowing away on a ship, and that was a ship coming from King's Landing, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So and then so she ends up getting taken over to. Well, I think that was Eric, right? That was, or was it Eric who brought her to him? That was Eric with the E, right? Yeah. And he throws a jab at him, thinking that he's not like loyal because he's like your traitor brother. And at one point he says to him, and it's kind of crazy, man. But yeah, so she is basically is telling the truth and saying, well, I did all that for money. She helped Otto. She gave Otto all of these secrets and spied for him and whatever. And it was all for money and had nothing to do with like a loyalty toward one family or the other. And Daemon was obviously pretty pissed about this. So he sends her down to the dungeons. And And then like we see later on that he ends up coming back. And again, we talked about this briefly, but he comes in and he's like, well, I'll give you your freedom if you can get, I guess, basically get him inside of King's Landing so he can figure out a way to kill Aemon. Because I guess the scene before that or right after that, I can't remember when it happened in sequence, but Rhaenyra finally comes back, and that's when she's like, I want Aemon. And that's basically her only line in the entire show.
Yeah, I like how she immediately walks in, she gets announced as the queen, and you know, the whole council just flips on, and you know, they're saying that the gullet is almost broken, and this is happening, and this is happening, and she just stares into the camera and says, I want Aemon Targaryen.
That's so good.
Spine chilling. Just pictures in the books. I might read them through.
Yeah, you want to know?
There are illustrated versions. Yes, there are actually illustrated versions of the Song of Ice and Fire and the Fire and Blood book. Yeah, so you can get some pictures, and there's YouTube stuff that do very good animation for it as well.
Yeah. Actually, my stepson just picked me up this book on House of the Dragon, and it kind of goes over the main points of the story. You know, it's not George's book. It's rewritten, but they go over to the casting and you know why they decided to cast some certain character. It's really cool. It's a hardback. It's got tons of pictures, so that might be right up your alley there, Poppin. If you go on Instagram,
on this council meeting. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying if you go on Instagram, you can see the book title. I'm pretty sure you got it on Amazon. So
nice. But yeah, I was just saying, I like on this council meeting as well. We also hear like what's going on in future episodes, like Daemon's going to Harrenhal, and Corlys and Rhaenys are doing the gullet and making sure that the seas are okay and things like that. So yeah, just, if you listen carefully, you can understand stuff. Like Harrenhal is probably going to blow everybody away as one of the most spectacular castles to ever be put on screen. Like, Harrenhal is amazing.
With Harrenhal, though, didn't we see that it got?
We saw a bit of it. Yeah, we saw a bit of it.
So we saw part of it get burned down.
Yeah, just wait till you see Harrenhal, bro.
Okay.
It's insane. It's probably going to be up there as in your top 3 castles in Game of Thrones lore.
Oh, nice. Okay. And then actually that's one part we skipped from the beginning. I really like that is when they're on top of the wall, and when they're talking about
Forever Winter.
Yeah, and he, again, Jace doesn't really know, and he's like, well, why do you have these big walls to hold off the cold and hold off the wildlings? And Cregan's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure my ancestors didn't build this thing 700 feet tall because of some wildlings and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't build it this tall to keep out wildlings, my friend.
How much do they know about the White Walkers at this point? Or they just know these rumors and this prophecy, and what do they know about the White Walkers?
If the wall is up, then yes, they know about the White Walkers, because the wall was up to erect. It was to keep them back.
That was the whole point.
Yeah, the wall has magical powers that they can't cross over it. That was why it was built. Okay.
I mean, I want to ask you a question, but I mean, it goes right into spoilers, so I don't really want to ask it, but because I want to know if we're going to see White Walkers in this series.
I genuinely don't know.
Okay. Yeah. It would be interesting. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's how it ends, or who knows? I mean, it would be pretty cool to link the two, but again, we're still so far away. It's even when this ends, I don't think we're still going to be anywhere close to like where we are in Game of Thrones.
No, we'll be about 90 years.
Still that far.
Yeah, the start of it was 162 years before the birth of Daenerys. Yeah, we'll be about 80, 90 years.
Yeah, so we're only going to be halfway there. Yeah. Well, all right. It would be pretty cool though. Let's see where are we at here. So so we talked about Daemon. So he goes down to try to get her to give him some information of how to get there, of how to get into King's Landing. Yep. And then we see this. We see that scene with Aemond and Kristen Cole, and you can kind of see that they're kind of making up their own like little their plans, and this is what we should be doing. Because again, Aegon just doesn't seem like he has any idea of what he's supposed to be doing. He's making jokes, and kind of like what Poppin says right there. He's kind of a joke of a king. I mean, yeah, he's right now he's just having fun. That's kind of what the way I look at it. It's like it's a new thing. He's got all the power and he's just kind of hanging out. And you can even tell that after Otto, when they're in the throne room and he's taking all their requests, you can tell that after Otto came up to him like twice, I think it was, that he starts getting irritated. He doesn't even want to be there anymore either. So
yeah, I kind of feel like Aegon is being a little bit arrogant to the situation afoot. Like, you do realize what your brother just did, right? Like,
yeah.
don't reward the guy. You should be like panicking and thinking, crap, what are we gonna do here? But yet you seem to be hanging out with your mates and drinking and telling your wife that it's fine just because you've got a big dragon outside. You're gonna be protected. Like, bro, okay, and clearly he wasn't. It's the way it went, but it was just very weird. I liked seeing Daemon. Like I say, they changed these things, but I like seeing Daemon talk to Blood and Cheese. That was definitely interesting. Asking them about Maegor's tunnels. That was a callback to the main show with the tunnels under King's Landing that Tyrion built. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. Which did Tyrion build it? Because Tyrion's not alive, but the tunnels are still there now. So he must have built some of them and not all of them, maybe. Because we know we have Maegor's tunnels. Maegor the Cruel, he definitely built tunnels.
So what was the tunnels then? Like when they were talking about the tunnels, I was like, well, wait a minute. Didn't Rhaenyra sneak out? Like maybe it wasn't a tunnel, but like she definitely snuck out some area.
There's definitely there's secret passageways behind certain doors.
Yeah,
yeah.
And that's why I kept thinking. I'm like, well, wait a minute, Damon, you already know that because you already told Rhaenyra how to get through there. That's why I was kind of thinking. I'm like, well, why doesn't he just go in that way?
Because he wasn't in that point, was he? He went when he did that. He was more of a regal. He was in the capital inners. Whereas today's episode, he was in the slums down in in the old town.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so he
commands that they find and slays Aemond, and that's different.
Okay.
Because that was never the case. It was always going to be Aegon, son for a son.
So in the book, they want to go slay Aegon, which
the transaction is to slay Aegon, son for a son, and they don't find Aegon.
Yeah.
They find Helaena in the room.
See, it's interesting. It's interesting because I didn't know that was the Blood and Cheese that I've been hearing about, and you kind of mentioned a few times. I had no idea, dude. I thought a couple times those dudes were turning on each other. Number one, number two, I thought the one time when they turned around and the camera kind of was coming up to him like in a horror movie, dude, I thought Aemon was gonna kill him. I thought Aemon was gonna be right there with the blade because I didn't think either one of those guys were gonna survive. So that was kind of big.
So I know when I said in my videos, like one was called Blood, one was called Cheese, one was a rat catcher, and one was an ex-gold cloak. Like, if you knew that going in, like we see the rat catcher at the very beginning, we see the gold cloak guy, so it's like they were definitely teased it. So it's still good that you didn't know though, that it still surprised you and you still got that far without knowing.
Yeah, I think that's what made me really enjoyed the last 10 minutes of the episode because I had no idea what was going to happen. I'm like, okay, they're not going to kill Aemon. Like, I know that. It's like, but I need anything else. Like, I thought those dudes were going to die. I thought Daemon was going to get captured. Like, there was a whole bunch of stuff I was thinking in that end. But killing a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old, or however old Jaehaerys was not seeing that one. So we'll kind of fast forward because that's kind of like at the end. That's pretty much where we are in the breakdown, I think. So they're kind of going room to room and looking for him, and dude, like, okay, so why? So does this happen in the book? Did they take Jaehaerys or kill Jaehaerys?
Yes, but but there's other factors that come into play because of it.
So why do you think Helaena would actually pinpoint him? And how did he know that she wasn't?
She didn't. That's what I'm saying. She didn't. So in the book, I need to preface this. In the book, they go through the tunnels. They find themselves in the chambers of the Queen. Nobody is in there at the moment, and they hide in the chambers of the Queen's chambers. Okay. Helaena returns to the chambers with all 3 kids. Mind, she has 3 children. One of them isn't even in this show, and it's a younger child. And that's one of my biggest issues with this. In the book, Helaena is caught by the throat and made to choose one of her children to be killed. She chooses the very youngest one, which what's his name?
I'm pulling them down.
Maylor is her third child, Maylor.
And we haven't even.
We haven't. This kid doesn't exist in the show. They haven't brought this kid out at all. So as far as I'm aware, they're not bringing it up. But in the book, it's Maylor. She chooses Maylor because Maylor is the youngest, and Maylor won't know what's going on, and maybe it won't affect him as much.
Oh, yeah,
they then say, okay, because you chose that one, we're going to choose the other one, son for a son. It can't be a girl. So that's what they do. They behead Jaehaerys instead. But not until they threaten her with sexual assault on the child. With also, Alicent is bound and gagged and in the room.
Oh, so Alicent's in there too.
Yeah, Alicent and Helena are both under attack in that room. So that's different from the show, because in the show she's fucking Kristen Cole,
right?
And Helena runs to her. So they've opened up that story now by Helena knowing about that information, because Helena didn't know about that in the book. So it's interesting how they're twisting these things. It's why it's cool for me still, because it's changing in front of my eyes to what I actually know to be different. You know,
there's like 2 or 3 things that happen in this episode that like are totally different. You know, it's interesting that I wonder why they haven't put the third kid in there.
Yeah, I know. But then we've also got Daeron, who's in King's Landing, who's in Old Town in the Hightower.
We haven't even seen him yet.
No, but his dragon exists in this world, so I'm sure we might see him.
Okay.
Tessarion, the blue electric dragon.
Oh, what's his name?
Tessarion. Tession. Tessarion.
That dragon was definitely not on my breakdown. I missed one.
But yeah, the whole scene, the whole blood and cheese thing, I have here in my notes. Interesting how they walk through the King's Landing central thing, unseen in plain sight, up to the royal chambers they go. The kids are lying in bed. Oh my God, are they really going to do this? They make Helena choose. She offers her necklace, which is different to the book because she offers her life in the book. They say that's not her son. They say that's not her son. Helena chooses and leaves with the other. Her son is beheaded, son for her son. So yeah, I think Charles messaged me on DMs on Insta. He was like, "Bro, you can hear them cutting flesh," and I was like, "Yeah, I know, it's pretty sick, right?" It's absolutely amazing. Then I have Alicent is fucking cold. What the hell? That's different. Helena goes to her and says they killed the boy. End of episode.
So the other child is Jaehaera, right?
Yeah, Jaehaerys and Jaehaera. Yeah, boy and a girl.
Jaehaera is a female, and then what was the name of the other kid that's not in the show right now?
Maylor.
And that's a girl too.
Yep.
Okay. So there's no heir right now then, which causes more issues, of course. Interesting. And then
given this choice, who would you have as king right now, Aegon or Aemond?
Yeah, basically. Well, okay. So that's different. And then the Daemon part is different because he doesn't go to King's Landing. Obviously, Mysaria, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Mysaria, the white one.
Mysaria. She is not in Dragonstone in the book at this point. So yeah, there's
King's Landing. She's the one that orchestrates the whole blood and cheese thing.
Okay,
she's the one that does those two.
3, I would say 2 really big changes, and then that one as well. So, and I think I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's like 3. That's 3 pretty big changes in the first episode alone. So, but yeah, I like when they do that because like then it's like for someone like you who knows all of it so much, at least it keeps you on your toes as well, and it at least makes it interesting.
Also, I hope he goes back to Winterfell. I hope Jace goes back to Winterfell because I feel like I'm sure he will, but it felt like they left out bits there as well because I know in the book his dragon doesn't want to be in the south in the north. It wants to leave, and there's. You know, we all talk about the mushroom aspects and what he says. Well, Mushroom says that the dragon laid a hatch of eggs at Winterfell. That's what Mushroom says.
Yeah, so, and
is that true? Is that not true?
Yeah, and that was the other thing too that they mentioned when they were at not Winterfell, but at Castle Black. They said that no dragon wants to fly over there. And then I'm just thinking, dude, in season 7, she's got 2 dragons going.
Yeah, you have to disregard what happens in season 7 because Dan and David were an absolute plonkers. And
I'm like, wait. So Nate flew. I mean, I don't think it was super far. I mean, we know Gendry is like an Olympic runner. I get it. He's an Olympic runner. He ran all the way back. So I don't know how far they were. But those dragons seem like they flew pretty far over that wall into the north. And so it's interesting that they made that comment. And then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, we had 2 dragons that did this. And yeah, so
I don't pay any attention to anything
I know
when it comes to lore.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, in the book, the dragon is definitely unweary of the cold. It doesn't want to be there. And there's some things that happen in King's Landing in the Winterfell that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like Mushroom comes up with ideas that Jace and Cregan are kind of poking the fire when it's hot, when they're together, kind of gay relationship kind of storylines. So I wonder if they'll play anything on there or not. Okay. It's interesting. But he's also, you got to remember, he's betrothed to one of the girls, the Baratheons. Yeah, Baela.
Yeah, and they showed as a Rain. I think it was Rhaena. They showed Rhaena. She was kind of
crying at Luke's funeral. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, and yeah, that's right. That was the one thing we skipped. Yeah, we see the funeral for Luke as well. So, all right, let's what is it? 54. All right, so we got a few minutes left here. Then I'm gonna pull up the let's see what you guys voted on here. So chat, if you haven't voted yet, go ahead and vote really quick. And then me and Ryan will give you our scores as well. I know I didn't put like the scores in there, but I put something basic. So we have 10 votes, 7 out of 10 people. So they have said epic. And then we see we have one person that put very good, one person put average, and one person put meh. It's interesting. All right, Ryan, do you want to? I'll let you go first. And if you want to relate it to the book, however you want to do your rating, go ahead. Pop and just do a 9.5 in there.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, this first episode has been built up with hype and hype and hype for 2 years. I've kept part of it inside and I've let some of it out. And it's been a good journey. But for me, this was one of the most fantastic return to season episodes in television history I have ever seen. And that's not just because I'm a Game of Thrones fan and a House of the Dragon fan. Like, I know people that are only into just this show and are absolutely in love with it. The way it was shot, the way it was filmed, the way it made you feel. There is no other score I can give this but a 10 out of 10. I know that it has bits in it that I'm niggly with, but that's only because I'm so deep into the lore. And so it's like you with Star Wars and the threads and all this stuff. It gets to you because it's ingrained into you that this is the lore and you love it because of it. So I understand where that comes from a Game of Thrones aspect as well. I can't give this anything but a 10. It made me so joyful, so happy. I'm just so glad to be back. We are here. We are back. We're in the north, baby.
Yep. Yeah, and like I said at the very beginning of the live, I said I thought that they did a great job recapping it, but moving everything forward. And we're not talking about just the main characters. Like, there's a lot of different moving parts here. Like the whole thing with Aemon and Otto. I feel like that's going to be something. I guess that maybe I wish they would have spent a little more time, kind of like you just said. I wish they would have spent more time with Cregan Stark, because it was like basically that one scene, and then all of a sudden Jace is heading back after he gets the 2,000 men or whatever. But I would have liked to see a little bit more there. But overall, I mean, I just the way Rhaenyra was in this episode, it's just four words, dude, and she crushed it. I thought Alicent was amazing in this episode. Honestly, I thought Alicent was really, really good. I still hate Kristen Cole, so I can't wait till he dies.
I don't hate his mustache as much anymore because he's been in close proximity to some cool stuff. So yeah, not so much his mustache, but the man himself, he's vile.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what Larys's plans are, because I just feel like right now he's like one of the most intriguing characters for me. He's just so darn creepy, dude. And I wonder if something's gonna happen with Larys, and like if because he does make a comment to Alicent about him coming to her door or something, and they said that she was indisposed or something, and
Larys knows everything, bro.
Yeah, I think he kind of knows what's going on, and I think that's gonna be really interesting.
So I said they might be leading into something that might be spoilery. So yeah, that's why I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel like the Greens have a lot more issues going on than the Blacks, because really I think the only issue that we have right now with the Blacks is that we have Rhaenyra's emotions versus what her duty is, and we have Daemon to me, Daemon, I feel like Daemon wants to be the king. Like he wants to be the leader, and he knows he's got to follow her. So besides that,
he's always been following though. That's why you guys say that. That's why he's so backed up and so annoying, because he's always been following. He's never had the lead.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was great. I'm not sure what else people would want. I mean, you're not going to start episode 1 with some huge war. You obviously got to set up the season, and I can't imagine them doing anything better. And like I said, I mean, it took a half an hour to kind of take care of the whole Luke thing, and I thought it was done great. I love when Cyrex came flying in, and they're all like dragon, and they all run, and then he's just basically guarding her. I thought it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of Drogon and Dany so much, and that's why that's why I like Cyrex right now, and I like Cyrex in season 1. I liked the couple times he came under the bridge and coming through the smoke or clouds or whatever it was, and so
we didn't see Caraxes this episode.
Yeah, Caraxes, we didn't even see him. Yeah, we got Melees, we got Vagar, and we got Cyrex. Those are the 3 we got this episode.
So what'd you score this one?
I would agree. I would say it's like right around a 9.5 for me. It's tough because 10 was like episodes 9 and 10 last year. Like, those were so good. Even
in my opinion, it was so good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you, 9.5. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I just feel like every episode is going to just be better. Like, and I feel like that's how I'm
saying. You could probably hear me say this is a 10 all the way through the show.
Yeah. But again, when you have a show like this, again, I don't want to sit here and make this alive comparing Star Wars to House of the Dragon, but like
there is no comparison.
I mean, look at the Acolyte. Now, granted, this is season 2, so we know these characters, but seriously, go back and watch episode 1. Go watch the first 2 episodes of House of the Dragon from last year, and then go watch Acolyte. Dude, it's not even like you can't even compare the two. And there's no character development in Acolyte. It's just you're supposed to care
about. Game of Thrones wasn't a movie, bro. That's why it was a TV show.
Dude, I didn't even care about Jaehaerys in this, and like I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna kill this kid. Like, and I didn't even care about him. Like, I thought the kid was funny.
How did Lady Stoneheart take it? Is she okay? Was she destroyed?
Yeah, she's all right. She was, yeah. We'll talk more because she knew I had to get on here. But yeah, I mean, we'll watch it again tomorrow probably, and I'll see what she thought. But I think she liked it a lot because when she's not on her phone during the show, then I know she's enjoying it. And I'll be honest with you, dude. We watched the first 3 episodes of The Boys. Dude, we were both we were
so good.
So good.
Yeah, I loved it, bro.
Dude, we were both bored. I think I fell asleep during episode 3. That's a whole other life, dude. I don't know. I just
hot diggity dog.
Yeah, I can't. And I love The Boys. I thought the first 2 seasons were so good. Last season was okay. The first 3 episodes, dude, I did nothing for me. I felt it was boring. So, but
they dropped it at the time. They cursed themselves. They dropped it when House of the Dragon's on, and they should have learned. Yeah. Don't go up against House of the Dragon.
Yeah, I wish they would have.
Let's watch every Thursday, so I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's different days, but like, being a content creator, it's hard because like I've put so much effort this week into House of the Dragon and Acolyte. It was The Boys, which I do like the show a lot. I basically put it to the wayside because I'm like, I just can't. And then finally today,
yeah, I'm not that. I can't.
We had some time because I knew I was just going to have to find time to fill in these 13 hours while I was sitting there waiting for this show to come on. Dude, now we have another week, and it sucks because I can't even do the live next Sunday. It's going to be killing me. It's going to be.
I will let you know tomorrow how further now you can listen into the audiobook. So you may get another 2 chapters of the audiobook that you can listen to.
I'll probably wait until halfway, and then because like I'll probably be on vacation then, and that way it'll give me something to listen to. But yeah, because I definitely don't want to hit any spoilers. But I am excited to listen to the book again. But I'm probably gonna wait till I go on vacation. So I think it'll be like 4 or 5 episodes in, and then and you can tell me how far to go. So, but all right, guys. Ryan, anything else for the good of the order for this episode you want to say? Again, tomorrow we will be live on Ryan's channel. breaking down scene by scene. And we'll both have watched it, at least second or third time by then. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to say.
I want Aemon Targaryen. Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you all tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
it, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. For Ryan, I am Headless. Thank you so much. Stay milky. Keep those heads on. We'll see you guys in the next video.